Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Total War Warhammer. So today we're going to be looking at some mods. I would like to start a series showing off a few mods on Total War Warhammer, maybe one a week for a few weeks. Still going to do some battle replays, probably not until next week. And the campaign Let's Play that I'm doing, I'll talk about that on a later video, but anyways, so let's jump right into this. We're going to be showing off the Cataph Southern Realms mod. This adds in units and tech trees and all that shit to the Border Princes, Tilea, and Estalia. Now you do have to have a separate mod for actually unlocking the faction, which is kind of odd. I'm still trying to find... The faction unlocker I used originally didn't give me the new units or the buildings or tech trees, all the fun stuff that Cataph Southern Realms added in, which is unfortunate. So I'm going to have to find one that works with it, but it looks to be pretty cool. So we'll show off Estalia first. We have, for new units, they have some Empire things and some are not. You have General of the Empire as your Lord, your only option. You have Empire Captains. So you have all the same stuff for heroes. For infantry, you have some of the same, infantry units available. But you also have pikemen, adventurers, great sword infantry, which are a little bit different than the regular great swords, but you can get the great swords as well. This is a slightly cheaper variant. Honestly, the normal great swords are just better. For 40 extra cost, you're getting quite a bit more armor, quite a bit more leadership, less speed, a little bit more charge, but the armor is huge. You also have Black Watch. Then for missile infantry you have Royal Guard. Cavalry and chariots you have Lancers, Knights of the Righteous Spear, and Noble Retinue. Missile cavalry you have Pistoliers. Then you have something called Riders. You have your Outriders again, and then you have Outriders with grenade launchers. For artillery you have light cannons, cannons, and organ guns. So you do have a mix of some kind of dwarf stuff in there as well. Next, Tilea. You see that we have kind of the same thing going on here. But then you have Sartosan Pirates, Dwarf Warriors, because apparently they used some mercenary dwarves or something. Pikemen, Republican Guard, which are halberdiers. And then, of course, you have Great Sword Infantry, same as before. Then for missile units, you have Pavice Crossbowmen, which unfortunately do not actually have a Pavice Shield, which is sad. So you have Broken Lances, which are basically the same as the Lances from before. Then you have Knights of the Righteous Spear and Noble Retinue as before, but then you also have Knights in Carmine, and you can only bring one of them. Missile Cav, you have Carabiners, which are new. The rest are there. And again, they have Light Cannon, Cannon, and Organ Gun. Then for the Border Princes, we have Dwarf Warriors with great weapons, Shield Bearers. We do not have the other great sword unit. We have Swashbucklers, though. And then we have Militia Archers, Border Rangers, Light Riders, Knight Militia, and Knights. So they have some lighter, cheaper cav than the other groups. They also have Light Scouts, as well as Pistoliers, Outriders, and the Outrider Grenade Launchers. And they have the same artillery with light cannons being the only new added thing there. So they have some interesting new things. Generally, it looks like they've added in more infantry as well as keeping the Empire infantry. So they are a little bit better, a little bit more of an infantry-heavy faction versus the Empire, because the Empire had some better artillery and some better cavalry options. But it looks like missile options, they usually add another one, and they have some other cool stuff added. So I feel like they're relatively balanced. I mean, there's obviously, I think, some balancing that needs to be done, but it's pretty cool. I can't wait to try them out in campaign. But for now, let's actually look at a battle between the two. So I'm going to do that, and then I will be right back. Well, I'm going to set it up, so yeah. Give me 1 second. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, I just set up a battle to... so we're just watching the replay. I don't like doing battles live while trying to talk, because I'm not very good at either. So doing both at the same time never works out too well for me. But let's go over really quickly what my army is. This is, again, just against AI, because there's not, you know, a bunch of people online playing every little unit mod. But I have my front row of pikemen here. I believe that there is 8 of them. There could be more, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, there's 8 pikemen making up my front line. You can see them here. They basically look like slightly better armored state troops. I mean, they're wearing this. They have the same skin and they have the same armor. It just looks like they're all armored pretty well. And they have leg armor, so kind of a mix there. Then I have on both flanks, I have these Sartosan pirates. They are a missile unit, but also a melee unit. So they have these pistols that they fire off to begin with, and then they use their cutlasses and kind of poorly made melee weapons when they get into melee combat. They're not fantastic in melee combat, but they hold their own better than most low infantry or most missile infantry would. Obviously, they don't cost a lot. Way over here on my flank, I have 2 units of these carabiners. Basically, they are like pistoliers or outriders. Pretty heavily armored, and they have the long guns here, the rifles. Then, backing up my main line of pikemen, I have some dwarf warriors. The dwarves have sent me some mercenaries. In the center, I have 2 units of these Republican guards. Very elite halberdier units. Very expensive, but very tough. Right here, I have my general. And then back here, I have some great sword infantry. These are the modded great sword infantry, not the regulars that are already in. Again, same thing on this flank, dwarf warriors. Then I have 4 units of the Pavice crossbowmen. You can see they're using the Empire skin, but with some helmets from Bretonia. However, there are no shields. I've found that most of the unit mods, even the really big nice ones, don't add any new assets to the game, no new art assets. It's all reused from things that they have in the game already, which is fine, but I would like to see eventually some more mods that add in stuff. But yeah, so I have 4 of those, 2 on each flank. Then I have, out on this flank, I have a noble retinue, which is the heaviest cavalry Tilea can bring. And I am playing Tilea, by the way. Then I have a broken lance, which is actually the cheapest, but there's very little difference between the two. You can see kind of the difference right here between the two. That's noble, that's broken lances, so not much difference. Then over here, I have a bit more of a difference here. I have broken lances again, which are the cheaper, and then I have the knights in Carmarine. They are wearing full plate armor, but it's red, and they're dual wielding, so very different than the others. Their horse armor is also kind of varied, but they're kind of interesting. I think maybe the armor is a little too red. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the universe well enough, but it almost seems like it's too red. Like it's an artificial red. I don't know. Anyways, then I have 2 light cannons. These are light cannons operated by humans, and then these are the regular cannons that are supposedly bigger. I'd wish they made the light cannons slightly smaller in size, but I mean, you could also say that these cannons are better because they're dwarven made, and dwarves are definitely the masters of black powder and all things explodey, so they are actually used by dwarves as well. I also have an organ gunner here, controlled by dwarves. Now, my riders out here did get caught. They shot a few rounds into some of these Knights of the Righteous Spear that Estalia brought. Actually, this is the Border Princes, and then there's also some riders in here from Estalia. So I have brought them in, pulled them in a little bit. Now I'm bringing up my lances. Some of my riders are taking a back step while my knights rush forward to meet his knights. So I'm just trying to get around him. I'm trying to watch out for these riders, get my riders out of there, my missile cavalry, and get my melee cav into them. He's got some halberds, some Black Watch actually moving up. These are some very elite halberd units as well. Some of them even have capes, really cool looking. But I'm going to meet them with my dwarf warriors. You can see my pirates are in here too. They were letting off some shots as well as fighting in melee a bit here. He's going to pull off. Now you can see the main line has been engaged. So we have some adventurers here from Estalia. These are kind of conquistadores, but no new assets were added, so you can see they're just kind of a mix of different things. So they actually have a lot of dwarven shields, which is sad. Then we have some shield bearers from the Border Princes, which is a really heavy spear unit that they have. They're the ones that are using dwarven shields and then pretty heavy armor there. Adventurers, or the adventurers, have round shields, which I think are from the... yeah, those are from the Marauders, Chaos Marauders. We have pikemen going up against pikemen here. We have just generic swordsmen, there's dwarf warriors in here, great weapons and regular. More pikemen versus pikemen. Pikemen are definitely, from what the little I know, are a big part of it. The Tilea Estalia combat anyways, not necessarily border princes. We have shield bearers here, which kind of look cool with these outrider helmets or these pistolier helmets on and dwarven shields. Then he brought some noble retinue in to try and take down my pikemen. I'm moving up dwarf warriors into it. More pikemen against greatsword infantry this time. And I've moved my pirates here on the flank to shoot into his infantry and any cavalry that come at me. They have 360 shooting degree, which is nice. And I'm moving my cavalry up his flank now. I had them fighting one of his cavalry units at first, but now they're going after some of these militia archers that are back here. Basically, for the border princes, they have Bretonnian human archers or whatever they're called. They're just militia archers here. They do have a unit somewhere of border rangers. Here they are. These guys look pretty cool. It looks like they're using a mix of Bretonnia skins and the Witch Hunter skin. I really like the look of them, actually. Yeah, I think that combination actually works really well. They look pretty cool. Again, I would like to see more art assets, but I realize that takes a lot of work and a lot of effort. Just a ton of effort for each little bit and piece, but still really cool mods are out there for adding units, and I think there are some that have some new assets, but oh, here's the organ gun. These are the Royal Guard. These are Estalian's elite missile troops here. Heavily armored gunners, basically. Now you can see that I have a bunch of my cavalry back there causing some havoc. My carabiners are back here. And back here on the front line, things are going mixed. For the most part, I'm doing better than him, but oh, and here we have the Border Prince's general. I think my general was fighting the enemies way out here, which kind of sucks, but my general did win that fight, which is really helpful in Total War Warhammer. Killing off their general or their heroes really helps weaken their morale or their leadership. Dwarf Warriors not doing spectacularly against the Black Watch, but they are holding their own. In the meantime, my other units are able to move around. As you can see, I am winning the main fight here, the main infantry fight, relatively well. So I'm able to move up my Saratosan pirates and my other units to start collapsing in on this main clump of troops he has. Saratosan pirates having their guns, I am just moving them up so they can shoot into the backs of these pikemen and whatnot that he has. Meanwhile, my cavalry is still all back here in this area. These ones did win the cav fight in the water over there, so now that they are moving up to assist. So you can see it's quite chaotic back here at this point. A lot of archers and his missile units being chased down. They're shooting at me. It's marshy, so it is in their favor a bit, but they just don't have enough back here to stop my cavalry. They're definitely doing some damage to it, but my cavalry will continue pushing in, shooting at them. You can see he's set up his cannons. He's got a few of them here. Ooh, damn, that one just got taken out. Back here at the main fight, you can see, again, I'm collapsing in on him from other angles, too. I got Dwarf Warriors now behind him. So a lot of these guys are going to start breaking. My own Republican Guard are now in the mix here on the front lines, and this is where he starts to shatter. I think both of his generals are dead, so he only lasts another 40 seconds, as you can see by the timer. Can I just say, I've heard a few mixed things on Blood and Gore, but I really fucking like it. Maybe it's a little bit too much in certain spots, but, you know, I've never been in a medieval fight before, so I don't know how much blood gets on your gear, but it looks really awesome, especially when you have monsters and cannons, and you can see the impact of your missile units so much better. Adventures being taken out by pikemen here. Now, the game wasn't... One thing that is unfortunate about this, about Warhammer, Total War Warhammer, is that because there's so much micromanaging to do with heroes and generals, they've taken out formations. So pikemen and halberdiers, I actually feel like, are not as good as they should be, because you can't go into a, you know, basically a pike wall formation that'll stop cavalry and infantry charges really hard. But it also, I mean, it makes it so you can control your generals better and your heroes while they're doing their abilities. But anyways, that's an entirely different rant. So anyways, my overall impressions of this mod are really good. I think that, I mean, my understanding of the lore is pretty limited. I'm trying to learn as much as I can, but as far as I know, Tilea, Estalia, and the Border Princes really don't have their own army, or at least they haven't for quite some time. There are some fan-made army books for them. But we do know a little bit about their lore and what they kind of were like, and I think that this mod maker, Cataph, has done a good job at representing each of those. Tilea being kind of an Italian state, Estalia being kind of a Spain, and the Border Princes being kind of a mix of different things and bandits and people that have run away. So yeah, I think he's done a pretty good job. I would like to see, I would like to find a mod that adds the Border Princes, Estalia, and Tilea in, though, that works, or I think he should just make his mod add them into the campaign as well. He says that all the stuff he's added goes into the campaign, but you have to find a faction unlocker for them, which is unfortunate. I think he should just do it himself so that everything works precisely. Because the mod that I'm using right now, you can play as Estalia, Tilea, but it doesn't look like any of the units that he's added or any of the work that he's done on the faction has been added in. So that's something I'd like to see. I'm sure I'll find a mod that allows his stuff to work with it. I just need to look around a little bit more. But overall, pretty good. Upsides is I think he did a pretty good job representing them. The units are interesting. It seems like they're well balanced considering. There's still a few things I think that could use a little bit more balancing, but overall it's pretty good. And I would like to see some more assets being put in, but that's just in general, and I know that it takes a lot of work and is very hard. So other than that, this is a really awesome mod. I can't wait to play it on campaign, and I'm pretty sure you guys are absolutely tired of me ranting on and on. So I'm going to end this video here, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week where we'll do some more replays and show off another mod. So yeah, have a good one.